I wonder whether you've come across this idea of the third place. Has anybody heard this idea, the third place? It's one I've only just discovered myself. Very simple idea. It's the idea that, generally speaking, much of our life is spent in two locations. It's either at work or it's at home. And the third place is a third place. And it's meant as those places that are free, public spaces where people can meet, they can talk together, they can exchange ideas. So can you think of any potential third places? What might be a third place that's not work and it's not home, but a free public space where we can meet? Church is certainly one, and has been the third place for centuries, hasn't it, in a way? Yeah? A park, yes, yep. Cafes, libraries, all of these sorts of places are regarded as third places. And if you go look it up on YouTube, you'll find a couple of videos like the ones I've got in the top corner there. But I want to talk about another very similar concept, and that is the third space. Now, I came across this. This video here is by a man called Dr.AdamFraser, and he speaks about this third space. And again, it's a very similar concept. It's not work and it's not home, but it's a space in the middle between those two places, but it's a place of transition where we move from work to home. So you might think of it as the drive between work and home. That's the third space for AdamFraser. Now, he came across this concept when he was talking to a man, and this man was a high-powered executive, and he had the experience of one day he drove home, he parked his car, he went to his front door, and as he turned the door to go inside and open it, he saw his kids scatter. And he realized what was happening. He realized that he was bringing the stresses and troubles of the workday to the house. And he realized he was actually poisoning the relationship with his kids, because he got home after a day's work and he was grumpy and he was tired and he didn't want to talk to anybody. And the kids who clamoured for his attention and really wanted to relate to him, he just found annoying and difficult. So what this man did, because he was a high-powered executive and he had a lot of money, he said, I actually built myself another entrance into the house. And what he did was he knocked a doorway between the garage and the bedroom. So he would drive into the garage, close the garage, go straight into the bedroom, have a shower, and come out in his not work clothes, in a tracksuit and t-shirt, so casual clothes. So the process of having the shower and changing what he was wearing enabled him to get into home mode rather than bringing work to the house. And so this is where AdamFraser got this idea of the third space and the need to transition from one to another. So he talks about three things, a three-step process in this third space. He talks about the need, first of all, to reflect, to think about where you've been, then to rest, and then to reset, to get ready for where you're going, for the space that you're going to occupy. So this was his three steps in this third space. Reflect, rest, reset. But then AdamFraser takes it a step further, because he says not only do we have the state of work and the state of home, but during the course of a day we might move through several different states. So He removes that concept of work and home and just says, use this third space whenever you find yourself transitioning from one state of being or one set of demands to another. Can you find the space in the middle that allows you to reflect, rest, and reset to prepare you to move into that new scenario? And one of the things I realise is that that is what the Sabbath is. That is what the Sabbath is. It is that third space between 1 week and the week that follows that allows us to reflect, rest, and reset so that we don't carry the troubles, the stresses, the anger, the grief from 1 week into the next and allow it to affect the way we deal with our next demands, whatever they happen to be. So as we come into this Sabbath state, we consciously consider the lessons we've learnt from the week before. You know, what have we learnt? We set those aside. We rest, we find space and time just to allow for reflection, just to allow us to hear something new. We listen to stories from the Bible and reflect on what they mean for us. And it can be then a reset for then when we move into the week ahead and prepare for whatever it is that we're going to face tomorrow. Now, there's a really interesting command in the Bible. It's stated several times, but I'm just going to read a section from the book of Exodus. Right towards the end of the book of Exodus, in chapter 31, there are these words said. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak also to the children of Israel, saying, Surely my Sabbaths you shall keep. For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am the Lord who sanctifies you. You shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy to you. Everyone who profanes it shall surely be put to death. For whoever does any work on it, that person shall be cut off from among his people. Work shall be done for 6 days, but the 7th is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Therefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations as a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed." Now, that reading is harsh, isn't it? We look at a command like that and say, surely how is it that God can command that someone die just for working on the Sabbath? But from our point of view, looking at the meaning of a day and the meaning of the Sabbath, what we realise is this is talking about that situation of that man entering his home, angry, frustrated, and taking it out on his kids. The message of the Sabbath is not a divine command, it's more like a warning. It says, if you carry the stuff of the previous week into your next week, you're going to poison what happens in that next week. If we carry the stuff from work into our home, we can poison the relationships at home. So take the time to stop, to reflect, rest, and reset. Think about what has happened. Recuperate and reinvigorate yourself. Refresh yourself. Recreate yourself. and then reset for what is coming. And this passage warns us of the consequences of not doing that, because it doesn't work to carry 1 week into the next. We need that space to consider in between. And we can apply it, as this man did, between work and home. But we can also do something like, if you've had a rough night's sleep and suddenly you've got to get into the car, how does that make your drive? Well, unfortunately, we often get aggressive, don't we, in the car, because we carry all of the things that have gone wrong immediately prior to it into our car driving. So take that opportunity and space to reset, reimagine this as something new. So we carry the argument that we have with our boss into our marriage and into our family relationships, or into the relationship with our co-workers even. We carry our spiritual and intrapersonal difficulties into our friendships. So what I'd urge for you to do over the coming week is just think about these spaces you can make for yourself, where you reflect, rest, and reset, so that what you move into, the new situations you move into, aren't poisoned by the struggles and difficulties of the previous circumstances. That's the Sabbath. That's the day that we're talking about today.